This is Aminata, day 7. Amazing. Um, as you see, I am uh, filming this in landscape, I guess. I was given that advice. Uh, you know, it's all work in progress. So, week 7, I did my morning walk, and something came to me to tell you. Um, 2001, I think it was. I went to my first American Anthropological Association conference, which is a big to do, which is like the annual conference, and over 1,000 anthropologists come together. And, I connected with the black anthropologists. They were very nice. But the kind of stuff that they were talking about was um, we want to be quoted like the white anthropologists. We want to basically have the same benefits as white anthropologists. And all those were legitimate things, but that's a lot what they were talking about. Then I went to the Native Americans, and they were talking about, when anthropologists come into our communities need to be better for them having been there, and I was like, oh, those are my people. And so there was one man in particular, his name was Tom Ball, and he talked about, there's this whole history, in particular in the United States, of anthropologists going to Native American communities and basically exploiting them for data, et cetera, so that, as opposed to European anthropology. But in American anthropology really started with studying Native Americans with the idea that, well, they're either going to die out or they're going to be assimilated, so we better collect the stuff as much as we can. So he was sharing how, he was so disgruntled with what they called helicopter anthropology, the fact that anthropologists come, hover, they take their stuff, and they're gone, never to be seen or heard from again. And again, the communities will not have improved any bit by them having been there. So he got so disgruntled with that he said enough. So he went and got his PhD. So, because, he did see the value of what they were doing, but, we need to be part of it. So he went and got his PhD. And then another thing they did is they set up protocols. So you cannot just go into, a Native American community to do your research just because you want to. You have to go in front of a council of elders and show why, show what you're going to do. And at the end, you present to them first. The data belongs to the community. And then, there's a negotiation of what you take with you. So I was like, yes, these are my people. And so I spoke with him. And, at that conference, I was just, how old was I? In my 20s. And so I spoke with him, and he kind of became my mentor, especially in the beginning, because I was in graduate school. And, he would talk to me from time to time. I could always ask him questions. He actually talked to me also about the value of singing. And then you lose touch. And then from time to time, we check in with each other again. But one of the things he taught me by example, and this has been coming back to me again, this difference between wanting and willing. We want a whole lot. I want things to be different. But what are you willing to do? That's a whole other story, And so he saw something that he didn't like, and he wanted it differently, and he was willing to make sacrifices, to go back to school, to study, to do everything that was required. What do we want? And what are we willing to do? I'm about to go out on my own as an independent consultant, scholar, whatever. And so, was recruited for this job recently. And the job entailed for me to work with this organization to help them work towards diversity and inclusion. And I'm like, yeah, because I know what it takes. I know what was missing, in my experience. So I really know what it takes. And so I made this plan, which really included the whole community and the extended community, and to have these, anyway, it was pretty extensive, but with this whole idea, what do you want, and how do you get everybody on board with that? And it was quite extensive. And it was a good exercise to do. And I knew, well, they might take it, they might not take it. I knew that, but it was good exercise for me, because what do I have to offer? What do I want to do? If I would have the chance to help somebody build an infrastructure, what would it look like? How would I do it? So I did all of that. So it was a good exercise, whether I was going to get the job or not. So then the recruiter called me. It's like, well, unfortunately I have to tell you, you didn't get it. And she said, but truthfully, they weren't ready for what you had to offer. I said, okay. She said, they really just wanted somebody who ask a few questions and write a report. And that was fine. I was kind of glad, because it just confirmed for me as far as what I have to offer and what I want to offer. But it also confirmed, and she ended with, but they really want to. I know they want to. But are they willing? And so as I'm thinking about doing this independent work and what that's going to look like, what is becoming clearer, this is what you want. This is what you say you want. What does it require? And what are you willing to do? And it's not just about an organization, but as I'm thinking about, even interpersonal relationship, what do we say we want? What does it require? And what are you willing to do? Sometimes one-on-one, your relationship, sometimes it might require that sometimes you have to shut up and listen. Are you willing to do that? Or sometimes it requires that you speak up more, become more assertive. Are you willing to do that? And if it's whether one-on-one relationship or whether communally, we are confronted now. What do we want? What do we want for this planet? What do we want for our fellow citizens? What does it require? And what are we willing to do? People talking about economic collapse. There's a lot of ways of doing economy. There's a lot of ways we're doing economy. We got plenty for everybody to go on. There's a lot of ways. But that means some sacrifices. Are we willing to do it differently? We can want all we want. Are we willing? So that's been on my mind anyway, the whole thing between wanting and willing. And so I passed it on to you. Yesterday I got to share my progress as far as my MacGyver Studios. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to put it on hold because I'm going to have to move in with my mother for a little while, just to be of support, Life happens, especially in these days, and since I go on my bike, I can't take the studio on my bike, so it's going to have to wait for a minute. Again, these are interesting days. I hope you are doing well. I hope you appreciate the fact that we are breathing, because there's a lot of people who did not wake up this morning. Some of us are relatives, some of us are friends, and I'm aware of that, and we all feel that. So we appreciative of, the fact that we are still here and breathing and doing the little bit that we can. I wish you a good day. And one of the plus things about being of my mother is that she has a much nicer garden than me. I don't show you my garden because it's not, I can't show it to you. So that's why you see the house. But my mother has a nicer garden, so there will be a nicer background. So there's a plus. Have a great day.